Arthur Criticos was a man of modest means, living a quiet life with his two children, Kathy and Bobby, after the untimely passing of his wife. He worked as a lawyer, diligently serving his clients while trying to provide a stable upbringing for his family. However, his life was about to take a drastic turn when he received a letter from his estranged uncle, Cyrus Criticos, informing him of an inheritance. Uncle Cyrus had always been a mysterious figure in Arthur's life, rarely mentioned and even less frequently seen. The letter detailed an unusual bequest, a sprawling mansion located on the outskirts of town. The terms of the inheritance were simple yet perplexing. Arthur was to take possession of the house and everything within it, with the condition that he could never sell it. Intrigued by the unexpected windfall, Arthur decided to investigate further. He packed up his meager belongings along with Kathy, Bobby, and their loyal nanny, Maggie, and set out for the remote location of the mansion. As they approached the imposing structure, Arthur couldn't shake the feeling of unease that settled in the pit of his stomach. The mansion stood as a dark silhouette against the fading light of the evening sky, its tall spires reaching ominously towards the heavens. Arthur couldn't help but wonder what secrets lay hidden within its walls and why his uncle had chosen to leave such a peculiar inheritance. As they crossed the threshold into the mansion, Arthur was immediately struck by the oppressive atmosphere that seemed to permeate every corner of the house. The air was thick with the scent of decay, and the faint echoes of long-forgotten whispers seemed to follow them as they explored their new home. Despite his misgivings, Arthur was determined to make the best of their situation for the sake of his children. He set about making the mansion habitable, assigning rooms to each member of the family and unpacking their belongings in an attempt to bring a sense of normalcy to their new surroundings. However, it soon became apparent that their new home was anything but normal. Strange occurrences plagued the family from the moment they arrived. Objects moved of their own accord. Eerie shadows danced along the walls, and whispers echoed through the empty corridors when no one was there to speak. Arthur tried to rationalize the bizarre events, attributing them to the old age of the mansion and the overactive imaginations of his children. But deep down, he couldn't shake the feeling that there was something malevolent lurking within the house. Something far more sinister than mere ghosts or figments of the imagination. As the days turned into weeks, Arthur's unease only grew, culminating in a series of terrifying encounters that forced him to confront the true nature of the mansion and the dark secrets it held within its walls. Little did he know, their new home was not just haunted by ghosts of the past, but by something far more insidious and dangerous than he could have ever imagined. As the days passed, Arthur's family settled into their new home, unaware of the dark secrets lurking within its walls. Strange occurrences began to unfold, starting with inexplicable noises echoing through the empty corridors at night. At first, they dismissed them as mere creaks and groans of an old house settling into its foundations. However, the disturbances escalated. Objects moved on their own. Doors slammed shut without a breeze, and whispers echoed in the darkness. Arthur's wife, Helen, grew increasingly uneasy, while their children, Bobby and Kathy, became frightened by the eerie atmosphere. One evening, while Arthur was inspecting the basement, he stumbled upon a hidden chamber concealed behind a false wall. Inside, he found a series of intricate mechanisms and arcane symbols etched into the walls. It was then that he realized their new home was more than just a house. It was a machine designed to contain something sinister. Arthur's research led him to a revelation. The house was built by his late uncle, Cyrus Criticos, a wealthy occultist obsessed with capturing and containing the spirits of the dead. The machine's purpose was to harness the supernatural energy of 13 powerful and vengeful ghosts, each imprisoned within its own custom-made cell. Determined to uncover the truth, Arthur delved deeper into his uncle's dark past. He discovered that Cyrus had made a deal with a malevolent entity to gain immense wealth and power in exchange for trapping the souls of those who wronged him in life. With each passing day, Arthur's family became more entangled in the web of supernatural forces surrounding them. They encountered the restless spirits trapped within the house, each with its own tragic tale of betrayal and revenge. From the tormented spirit of a jilted bride to the vengeful ghost of a murdered mobster, the 13 trapped souls haunted the halls of the house, seeking release from their eternal imprisonment. Despite the growing danger, Arthur was determined to free the souls trapped within the machine and put an end to his uncle's dark legacy. With the help of a team of paranormal experts, he embarked on a perilous journey to unlock the secrets of the house and confront the evil that lurked within. But as they delved deeper into the mysteries of the machine, they soon realized that some secrets were better left buried. For within the heart of the house lay a darkness more ancient and malevolent than they could have ever imagined. And freeing the trapped souls would unleash a force beyond their control. As Arthur and his family raced against time to break the curse and banish the evil that threatened to consume them, they soon realized that their fate was intertwined with that of the 13 ghosts imprisoned within the machine. In a desperate bid for survival, they must confront their own fears and confront the darkness that lurked within the shadows of their own souls. Arthur's heart raced as he descended deeper into the labyrinthine corridors of the mansion, the oppressive silence broken only by the faint whispers of the restless spirits that lurked within. His mind buzzed with questions and fears, each step forward a testament to his growing resolve to protect his family at any cost. As he rounded a corner, Arthur nearly collided with a figure standing in the shadows. Startled, he stumbled back, his hand instinctively reaching for the revolver at his side. But the figure stepped forward, raising their hands in a placating gesture. "It's all right, Arthur," a voice said, the words tinged with a strange mixture of reassurance and solemnity. "I mean you no harm." Arthur squinted, trying to make out the features of the newcomer. It was a man, dressed in dark clothing that seemed to blend seamlessly with the darkness around them. His eyes glinted with an otherworldly intensity, and Arthur felt a chill run down his spine as he realized the truth. "You're one of them," Arthur whispered, his voice barely above a breath. "A ghost?" The man nodded, his expression grave. "Indeed, I am. But I am not here to haunt you, Arthur. I am here to help." Arthur's mind raced, trying to make sense of this encounter. How could a ghost possibly help him? And why would they choose to do so? Sensing his confusion, the man spoke again, his voice soft but filled with a quiet authority. "My name is Dennis Rafkin," he said. "I am a psychic investigator, and I have spent years studying the supernatural forces that dwell within this mansion." Arthur felt a flicker of hope ignite within him. Perhaps this man held the key to understanding the mysteries that plagued his family. Perhaps he could help them escape the clutches of the malevolent spirits that haunted their home. "You have to believe me, Arthur," Dennis continued, his eyes locking onto Arthur's with an intensity that brooked no argument. "The ghosts in this mansion are dangerous, far more so than you can possibly imagine. They are not content to simply linger in the shadows. They hunger for something more." Arthur's mind flashed back to the visions he had witnessed, the grotesque forms and twisted faces of the spirits that prowled the halls. He shuddered, the memory still fresh in his mind. "What do they want?" he asked, his voice barely a whisper. Dennis sighed, the weight of centuries seeming to press down upon his shoulders. "They want release, Arthur. Release from the torment that binds them to this place. And they will stop at nothing to achieve it." Arthur felt a surge of anger rise within him. How dare these spirits threaten his family, his home? How dare they intrude upon his life with their insatiable thirst for freedom? "What can we do?" he asked, his voice tinged with desperation. Dennis regarded him for a long moment, his gaze unreadable. Then, with a solemn nod, he spoke. "We must capture them, Arthur. We must find a way to bind them once more, to contain their power and prevent them from wreaking havoc upon the living." Arthur felt a spark of determination ignite within him. If capturing the ghosts was the only way to protect his family, then so be it. He would face whatever dangers lay ahead, armed with nothing but his wits and the steadfast resolve to see this through to the end. "Lead the way, Dennis," he said, his voice steady despite the tumult of emotions raging within him. "We have work to do." As the eerie atmosphere thickened within the labyrinthine walls of the mysterious mansion, Dennis' warnings echoed ominously in Arthur's mind. Yet, despite his uncle's cautionary tales, Bobby, consumed by youthful curiosity, found himself drawn inexorably towards the enigmatic containment cells. The mansion's corridors seemed to stretch endlessly, their shadows concealing secrets and whispers of the past. Bobby's steps faltered as he approached the chamber where the spirits lay dormant, their presence palpable even behind the reinforced glass. A single touch, a momentary lapse of judgment, and the fragile barrier shattered, releasing an ancient power long suppressed. With a deafening roar, the containment cells fractured, setting free a legion of phantoms, each with a story of despair and vengeance to tell. Bobby staggered back, horror etched upon his face as the spirits surged forth, their spectral forms twisting and contorting in the dim light. With every step, their malevolent intent grew stronger, fueled by centuries of confinement and bitterness. Dennis's voice echoed through the chaos, a futile attempt to stem the tide of unleashed fury. But it was too late. The mansion trembled as the ghosts roamed free, their ethereal wails piercing the silence of the night. Arthur, gripped by a sense of dread, rushed to Bobby's side, his heart heavy with guilt for failing to heed the warnings of the past. Together, they stood amidst the chaos, facing a force beyond their comprehension. In the wake of destruction, Arthur and Bobby realized the magnitude of their folly. With the spirits unleashed, they had unwittingly opened a gateway to a world of darkness and despair, where the line between the living and the dead blurred into nothingness. As the echoes of the spirits' fury faded into the night, Arthur and Bobby were left to confront the consequences of their actions. With the mansion now a battleground between the mortal realm and the supernatural, they knew that their journey was far from over. For the ghosts, once confined, were now free to exact their revenge upon the living, and only Arthur and Bobby stood in their way.